Before I get started on today's video, I'll have to let you know that this quote-unquote script was made like a month ago when Magic Breaker first came out. I obviously had to edit it and readjust so that it makes sense. I was planning on making this video, but eventually I decided not to. But I have once again changed my mind for some reason and decided to make this into an actual video. Enjoy. Hello, I'm LuNEJuNE, and in today's video, this might be rather controversial, but I am going to try to tell you that Magic Breaker board might not be as good as you might think. I have made a poll like a month ago to my community and fans to see how they all think, and it turns out it has a pretty positive rating, which is what I expected. Most of the comments and messages were in the lines of, now we don't have to worry about 7-pip growth, no more missing full harmony yin-yang, etc. But in this video, I'll be going in depth to see if Magic Breaker truly is effective, or should I say useful. Let's jump right in. Before I get into the actual video, I just want to make it clear that I am not trying to make this board look bad. I just think it has a misinterpreted function in the game that a lot of you may think. Also, this is all strictly my personal opinion, so if you like the board, great. If you are thinking the same, thank you for understanding. Now let's actually get into it. Let's talk about how this board works. On the surface, it may look like a board that lets you delete an existing die and recycle the pre-existing die's pips to use on other tiles. However, there is way more to it. Well, for the feature part, that is simply it, but there are many uses for this. For example, you have a 6-pip lunar next to a pretty godly setup. You can delete a decently high pip to try to get the 6-pip into a 7-pip. This could easily be the game changer for that specific match, cause a 6-pip lunar and a 7-pip lunar has the biggest difference in lunar buff. The only problem would be that it goes on a long cooldown. It starts off with 100 seconds the first time you use, and as you use more and more, the cooldown increases, making you unable to consistently and constantly use the board. But come on, when are you going to use it to a degree where the cooldown is so long that it affects your game? I think I explained the basics of this board. Now let's go into the efficient ways this board can be used. As I said, you can make a 6-pip turn into a 7-pip by pure RNG, and you can also remove that pesky 7-pip growth dice right in the corner of the board on a yin-yang setup. However, these aren't the only ways you can use this board. For example, through testing, I found out that you can remove sacrifice from the board and still get the corresponding SP count. This is great if you use sacrifice and you happen to get a high pip sacrifice. You can share the pips to other dice while also helping yourself with some SP. Another cool thing I found, it's rather obvious, if you are going against IX10, you can delete a random die to try to get your main DPS unhacked. Same goes to solo lunar players going against Royal. They send Royal and you desperately need space to reactivate Solar or to remove to activate Solar, you can use the board to do so. These are all great and there are numerous possibilities with this board. Then why am I making this video when there are so many features and small tips that you can use for your own benefit during gameplay? Here's why. Have you thought of efficiency? Yes, sure, this board brings a lot of features and tools onto the table, but is it really necessary? Let's go over the stuff that I've previously mentioned before. First of all, 6-pip lunar into 7-pip lunar. You can get away with not using this board to get 7 pips. It's actually rather easy. Just try to build up by chaining your growths or to use blessings. If you are using random growth, there is a pretty high chance you can get a 7-pip as well. I haven't really seen a game where my recharge opponent never gets a 7-pip lunar. In fact, they actually get it at around wave 2 on average. So this board isn't the best to get 7 pips. What about the yin-yang stuff? It honestly is annoying if you are trying to get an AFK yin-yang setup and RNG God says no and you get a random 7-pip that you never wanted. This board is perfect for that scenario. Or is it? You can simply not greed to get 7 pips. I know sometimes your luck is on the worst and you can get a 7-pip, but there are ways to prevent it. We as a random dice community came this far without using this board, and we learned not to greed and to not mess up our setup. The other problem about the yin yang part is that you cannot get the benefit of Blessing's 10% damage increase or Pantheon's overpowered 50% crit chance. Therefore, you are going to die at a much lower wave if you are talking with Pantheon stats in co-op. The other thing, bounty still gives SP to the opponent when you delete a die with the bounty symbol. If this wasn't the case, I might have rated this board higher, but no, sadly, it does not. What I'm trying to say is there really is no place for this board to go, unless someone proves to me otherwise. Co-op, it's going to be useless because there are better board choices like Blessings and Pantheon for Yin Yangs, and Prism or even Goldmine for DPS supports. PvP, there are once again better options such as the Scope board, which literally helps out Recharge and other decks so that they can bring Switch to hard counter their counter, Hypersyn. And Final Coliseum, which slows down the mobs, making it somewhat easy to handle flow opponents. If you really think about it like this, the board really isn't that great. It has incredible potential, but we currently cannot seek it. I really wish someone found an out of the blue strat using this board, cause I cannot think of any as of right now. So a quick update, PowerTop and his community found out that you can delete, yes that's right, completely delete a die from the board using Timeminder. They did use this in their combo run to hopefully get more combos, but eventually that never happened. I do have to say, this is a pretty creative way of using this board, but once again, Blessings does a better job, and as long as you get hit by Leons all the time, it wouldn't be as bad. But definitely an out of the blue strat that I was looking for. This was my small rant, should I say. Thanks for watching and listening, and please let me know what you think in the comments. Adios.